Japanese people are living past 100 without ever stepping foot in a gym, and yet they're outliving almost every other country on the planet. Here's what nobody's telling you about why this actually works. Now, before you throw out your running shoes and cancel that gym membership, you need to understand something crucial. They're not sitting all day. What they're doing is actually far more clever than exercise, and it's something you can steal, even if you live in suburban America and drive everywhere. In fact, by the end of this video, you'll understand why the 10,000 steps goal you've been chasing might actually be making you less healthy than a 90-year-old Japanese grandmother who's never counted a step in her life. Let's address the elephant in the room. You probably think Japanese people have some genetic advantage, or maybe they're secretly doing intense workouts behind closed doors. Neither is true, and understanding why matters more than you realize. Here's the thing. The "they never exercise" claim isn't actually a lie, it's just misunderstood. Japanese centenarians genuinely don't do what we call exercise in the Western sense. They're not going to SoulCycle, they're not lifting weights, they're not training for marathons. But critics will point out that sports participation has doubled in Japan since the 1990s. So what gives? The answer lies in understanding the difference between exercise, intentional scheduled workouts, and baseline daily movement. The real differentiator isn't that they avoid exercise, it's that their baseline level of daily movement is so astronomically high that formal exercise becomes redundant. Think of it like this. If you're already climbing 10 flights of stairs just to get to work, do you really need a Stairmaster? Now let's kill the genetics argument. Studies tracking Japanese populations who immigrated to Western countries show their health outcomes decline to match Western averages within a generation. This proves definitively that it's not DNA, it's environment and lifestyle. Your genetics aren't holding you back, your environment is. Even Japan is seeing rising rates of Western diseases due to convenience store processed foods. The centenarians we're talking about are from the generation that's stuck to traditional habits. This is actually good news for you, because it means the secret isn't locked in some ancient, inaccessible tradition. It's a set of practical habits that worked in the past and can work today. Here's where everything changes. There's a concept that explains the entire phenomenon, and once you understand it, you'll never think about fitness the same way again. Imagine your body is burning calories 24/7 like a furnace. Everyone focuses on throwing big logs on the fire, those intense workouts. But what Japanese people have mastered is keeping a constant stream of kindling going all day long. The kindling, all those tiny movements, actually adds up to more total heat than one big log. This is called NEAT. Non-exercise activity thermogenesis. It's every movement you make that isn't sleeping, eating, or formal exercise. Walking to the train station, taking stairs, standing while cooking, fidgeting at your desk, carrying groceries, squatting to pick something up. In Japan, these movements aren't optional, they're built into the environment. The genius of Japanese urban design is that cities like Tokyo are train-centric rather than car-centric. This isn't about moral superiority or willpower. It's about architecture making the healthy choice the only practical choice. When you have to walk 10 minutes to a train station, climb 3 flights of stairs, stand on the train for 20 minutes, then walk another 10 minutes to your office, you've just completed 40 minutes of movement without making a single decision to exercise. Decision fatigue is the killer of Western fitness. Going to the gym requires approximately 50 micro-decisions. What time, what to wear, which gym, what workout, which machine, how many reps. When you're already exhausted from work, every decision point is an opportunity to quit. Japanese NEAT bypasses all of this because the movement is automated. It's just how you get places. Here's the data. A study comparing office workers in Tokyo versus Los Angeles found that Tokyo workers burned an extra 250 to 350 calories per day through NEAT alone. Over a year, that's equivalent to running 25 to 35 marathons, except they never ran a single step intentionally. Now let's talk about something you can implement tomorrow morning: Radio Taiso. Radio Taiso is a 3-minute calisthenics routine broadcast nationwide in Japan every morning at 6:30 a.m. It's been running since 1928. Think of it as a national stretching break that millions of people do in unison. Why does 3 minutes matter? This isn't about getting a full workout in 3 minutes. That's not the point. The point is removing barriers to entry. 3 minutes is short enough that you can't talk yourself out of it. You can do it in your pajamas. You don't need to shower afterward. You don't need equipment. It's the perfect micro-habit. Because it broadcasts at the same time daily and millions of people do it together, there's a built-in accountability mechanism. You're not alone in your living room wondering if you should exercise. You're part of a national ritual. Here's the formula for making this work. Radio Taiso succeeds because it's anchored to a specific time and often paired with another habit. After existing habit, I will do new habit. The existing habit becomes the trigger. In Japan, the broadcast itself is the trigger, but you can create your own version. While my coffee brews, I will do 3 minutes of stretching. Many people fail at fitness because they try to go from 0 to 60. They sign up for a gym and commit to going 5 days a week. When they inevitably miss a day, they feel like failures and quit entirely. Radio Taiso is the opposite approach. Start so small that failure is nearly impossible, then let momentum build naturally. Now we need to talk about eating, but not in the way you expect. Hara Hachi Bu translates to eat until you're 80% full. It's a Confucian teaching that originated in Okinawa, the region with the highest concentration of centenarians in Japan. Here's why this works. Your stomach is like a mailbox, and your brain is like an office. When you eat food, the stomach sends a message saying, "We're full," but that message takes about 20 minutes to reach the brain's office. If you eat until you feel 100% full right now, in 20 minutes you'll feel 120% full, overstuffed, sluggish, and bloated. By stopping at 80%, you'll feel perfectly satisfied in 20 minutes. This isn't restriction, it's strategic pausing. The crucial distinction is that you're not being told you can't eat more, you're just pausing. This removes the psychological rebellion that comes with traditional dieting. You can always have more if you wait 20 minutes and you're still hungry. Spoiler alert, you usually won't be. When you consistently eat past fullness, you force your body to process more food than it needs. This taxes your digestive system, spikes insulin levels more dramatically, and leads to energy crashes. By eating to 80%, you avoid this metabolic roller coaster without technically restricting anything. How do you know when you're at 80%? The simple rule is to stop eating when you first think, "I could eat more, but I don't need to." That's 80%. If you're thinking, "I'm stuffed and need to unbutton my pants," you've blown past 100%. In Japan, this is made easier by smaller plates, chopsticks which slow eating pace, and the cultural practice of eating at a table rather than in front of a TV. Each of these adds good friction to overeating. Now let's challenge one of the most popular fitness myths in Western culture, the 10,000 steps goal. This number came from a 1960s Japanese marketing campaign for a pedometer called Manpo-K, which translates to 10,000 steps meter. It wasn't based on scientific research, it was literally a marketing slogan that happened to sound good. Yet we've been treating it as gospel for decades. Japanese researchers at Shinshu University developed a more efficient approach: interval walking training. The protocol is simple: 3 minutes of fast walking, followed by 3 minutes of slow walking, repeated for 30 minutes total. Do this 4 days per week. When you walk at a steady pace for 10,000 steps, your body adapts and becomes efficient, burning fewer calories. Intervals keep your body guessing, elevate your heart rate multiple times, and provide cardiovascular benefits similar to running, but without the joint impact. Studies show interval walking training improves aerobic fitness by 10 to 15% and reduces blood pressure comparably to moderate intensity jogging, but in half the time commitment. For busy people, this is a game changer. Anyone can walk. Not everyone can run or do high-intensity workouts without injury risk.
Interval walking training is appropriate for ages 20 to 90, which partly explains why Japanese centenarians can maintain it into old age. Find a route where you can walk without constant interruptions, set a timer, walk fast enough that you'd struggle to sing but can still talk, then slow down for 3 minutes. That's it.
We need to reframe how you think about movement entirely. Shinrin-yoku, forest bathing. Despite the name, you're not literally bathing. You're taking a slow, sensory walk through nature. The emphasis is on presence, not pace or distance. Studies from Japanese universities show that spending time in forests lowers cortisol levels, your stress hormone, by 12 to 15% and reduces blood pressure. The combination of natural sounds, phytocides, chemicals released by trees, and the absence of urban stimulation creates a physiological relaxation response. This isn't a hike. Shinrin-yoku is not about conquering a mountain or hitting a certain pace. You might cover 1 mile in an hour. The point is engaging your senses, touching tree bark, listening to birds, noticing sunlight through leaves. It's movement as meditation. Most Western fitness is about punishment or achievement, burning calories, hitting PRs, earning your meals. Shinrin-yoku reframes movement as a gift to yourself. It's restoration, not punishment. This mental shift is crucial for sustainability. Chronic stress elevates cortisol, which increases belly fat storage and triggers cravings for high-sugar foods. By using movement to reduce stress rather than add to it through intense workouts that spike cortisol further, you address a root cause of weight gain that most people ignore. You don't need a pristine Japanese forest. A local park works, a tree-lined street works, even a backyard garden works. The key is reducing digital stimulation, leave your phone in your pocket, and engaging with living things. I know what you're thinking, but I'm not in Japan. Let me address this directly. If you live in a suburb and can't walk to a train station, you can artificially create NEAT by making small environment changes. Park at the far end of parking lots. That forces 2 to 3 minutes of walking. Take stairs instead of elevators. Do radio taiso while coffee brews. Walk to your mailbox the long way. Stand while folding laundry or talking on the phone. Add steps to tasks you already do rather than adding new tasks. If I'm not sweating, am I really getting healthier? Sweat is just your body cooling itself. It's not a measure of workout quality. Japanese centenarians rarely sweat from their daily movement, yet they have lower rates of heart disease, diabetes, and obesity than Americans who sweat buckets in gyms. Is 3 minutes really enough to matter? 3 minutes of movement is 21 minutes per week. That's 84 minutes per month. That's 1,095 minutes per year, over 18 hours of movement you wouldn't have done otherwise. Plus, tiny habits lead to identity shifts. Someone who does 3 minutes daily starts to see themselves as someone who moves, which makes bigger changes feel natural later. This feels too easy. If it isn't hard, it isn't working. Western fitness culture has convinced us that health must involve suffering. But difficulty and effectiveness aren't the same thing. Consistency beats intensity every time. A 3-minute daily habit you actually do for 10 years will produce better results than a 2-hour gym routine you quit after 3 weeks. Let's add some nuance. Japanese longevity culture isn't perfect. Japan has a term for death from overwork, karoshi. The same culture that produces centenarians also has severe work-life balance issues, high suicide rates, and social isolation among the elderly. Longevity doesn't automatically equal quality of life. The lesson for you is this: take the physical health practices, NEAT, the 80% rule, intervals, forest bathing, but reject the toxic work culture. The goal is a long and happy life, not just a long one. Some sociologists criticize the longevity narrative for ignoring that many Japanese elderly report loneliness and depression. Living to 100 means nothing if you're miserable. While you're optimizing physical habits, you must also prioritize relationships, community, and mental well-being.
Modern young Japanese people are actually experiencing declining health compared to their grandparents because they're adopting more Western processed foods and sedentary habits. The centenarians we admire come from a specific generation and lifestyle that's actually disappearing. Here's exactly what to do starting tomorrow. Week 1. Start with just Radio Taiso, 3 minutes every morning. That's it. Don't add anything else yet. Build the habit first. Week 2, add the 80% rule to 1 meal per day. Start with dinner since it's when most people overeat. Just practice stopping when you could eat more but don't need to. Week 3, implement one neat hack. Pick the easiest one for your lifestyle. Maybe parking farther away or taking stairs. Make it automatic by linking it to something you already do daily. Week 4, try interval walking training once or twice. Don't commit to 4 days yet, just test it and see how it feels. Month 2, add Shinrin-yoku once a week. Saturday mornings often work well, just 20 to 30 minutes in a park or natural area. You're not trying to do everything at once because that leads to overwhelm and quitting. You're building a foundation where each habit makes the next one easier. 3 minutes of morning movement makes you more likely to want to move during the day. Eating to 80% gives you more energy for walking. Walking reduces stress, which makes you sleep better, which makes morning routines easier. It's a positive spiral. If you improve just 1% every day for a year, you'll be 37 times better by year end. These tiny Japanese habits are the 1% improvements. They seem insignificant day to day, but the compound effect over decades is the difference between being active at 90 versus being in a nursing home. You don't have to do this perfectly or exactly as described. If Radio Taiso doesn't resonate, find a different 3-minute movement routine. If forest bathing feels weird, just turn off your phone and walk around your neighborhood paying attention to details. The principles matter more than the exact practices. The real secret isn't that Japanese people never exercise. It's that they've designed a life where health is the path of least resistance. They don't need willpower because their environment does the work for them. You can't replicate Tokyo and suburban America overnight, but you can start adding good friction to bad habits and removing friction from good habits. That's environment design, and it works anywhere. The goal isn't to become Japanese, it's to steal the principles that work and adapt them to your life. NEAT, habit stacking, the 80% rule, interval training, and stress-reducing movement aren't Japanese inventions. They're human biology hacks that Japanese culture happened to systematize really well. Stop waiting for motivation. Start engineering your environment. 3 minutes tomorrow morning. That's all you need to begin. And remember, the best exercise program is the one you'll actually do. Japanese centenarians prove that good enough done consistently for decades beats perfect done for 3 weeks. Pick one habit, the one that feels easiest. Do it tomorrow, then come back in a week and comment which habit you chose and how it went. I'll be reading every response.